MMA Pit. Muchas gracias por todo.
Hello to all our friends from MMA Pit. We are talking with a truly pioneer of the MMA in Bellator, in MMA in general. We are talking with Juan Archuleta. How are you?
Hey, Luis. I'm doing good. How you doing?
We're doing great. And you fought in your last fight for the interim bantamweight title against Stotts. It wasn't in your way, but what did you learn in this fight, or what did you keep from this fight?
Yeah, that fight was crazy, right? It's like you don't really learn too much from that fight, except like if you're gonna lose, that's the way to lose. Like you're winning, you're dominating a fight, everything's going your way, and then an incident like this happens in practice a million times. You block a kick, you block a kick, you block a kick, and for some reason you catch the knee on the front, and if it would have been a shin, it would have been perfect, but it's just like things aren't that serious, and it was something that happened that was unfortunate, and you move on. So you take the loss the way it happened, and you move forward.
This is the first time in your career that you have a losing streak. Obviously, you have a great resume, and a couple of losses don't define your career. But what are your thoughts about this current streak?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and you see the type of fighters you fought. And it was like, Sergio Pettis is a guy that's very defensive. He sits back, doesn't really put offense together. I was constantly going forward, and the MMA judges rewarded someone that didn't put very much martial arts together. He never took me down. All he did was defend, and you lose. And you're like, okay, how am I supposed to take that as a fighter? Like, I'm supposed to be defensive, make a boring fight, and then win a fight, like whatever. And then the next fight, same thing. You got a guy that was kind of running, defending, and not really putting much action together. And so again, I'm faced with the reality, like, damn, doing a lot of offense. But you know what? I'm not going to change who I am as a fighter, because I'd rather be an offensive fighter, Mexican style fighting that audience wants to see, outpace, wants to see knockouts, wants to see interaction between fighters. So I'm going to continue to do that. Losing doesn't define who you are as a fighter. It's your performance that people want to tune in and watch. It's like now Stotts has to go make himself look like an idiot and talk shit and like try to belittle people and be a bully. Like, cool, you want to do that? That's stupid. Like, that's how people are going to watch your fight. Like, you're an idiot. And then you get a guy that is like Nate Diaz and guys that go and Kamaru Usman that put a lot of offense together, and Shemaev that are going to go look for finishes. People want to see those type of fights. And so me, Pitbull, Aaron Pico, guys like that, AJ McKee, that's why they put all us on the card. Like, we're going to probably be the highest watch card this year on Bellator, because that's a whole action-packed card. You got Barzola, who's all action. You got Borix, who's all action. You got Pitbull, that's all action. You got Aaron Pico, that's all action. You got Kennedy, that's all action. Like, this main card is going to be nothing but offense that's going to be put out there.
Yes, it's a very stacked card. And you are facing a very tough opponent in Enrique Barzola. You have already faced the top of the division. Do you expect something new or a new challenge in Barzola?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see, like I said, the last two guys I fought were very defensive. Barzola is very offensive. Archuleta, the Spaniard, I'm very offensive. I'm going to go out there and put my offense together, and it's like two Rams. They go and they do this all the time until someone breaks. And that's what me and Enrique are going to do. We're going to come out and we're going to bounce and bounce and bounce. And then the first one to break is going to lose. And so I'm interested to see. And, I feel like I'm going to get the third round finish because of it.
And in this fight, we have the number 9 and the number 3 ranking fighters. And obviously, you expect the victory. In what point of the division you expect to be after this fight?
Yeah. I mean, you look at this fight, you see those two ranking, and it's kind of laughable, right? Like, you look at me ranked number 3 when I beat Patchy Mix, and, Stotts, I mean, I was smashing him. Obviously, he won the fight, so he got the interim belt, so he's ahead of me. But then you got Barzola, who was beating and destroying Magomedov. Like, he is way ahead of ranked number 9. He's an Ultimate Fighter winner. He comes in, he beat Darian Caldwell, who's a previous champ that not many bantamweights have ever beat before. And so this is a lot closer matchup than what those rankings show. But For me, who I wanted to fight was Horiguchi. He didn't want to take the fight, and then they gave me Enrique. But I didn't really want to fight at 35s either because I wanted to get back up to 45s and get my rematch with Pitbull. Like I got to go prove myself, but I feel like I'm still owed to myself to go fight Pitbull because the first fight it didn't go my way because the fight in the back with the commission. Like I still want that title fight with him to show everyone that I am better than him, and that night he just caught me on a night that I was already fighting before that fight, and he didn't get the 100% Spaniard that I know that I could go out and finish him.
And in the bantamweight Grand Prix, before you go to the featherweight division, in the bantamweight Grand Prix, some fighter cannot continue in the tournament. And in that scenario, do you want to come back in the Grand Prix, or don't want to be in
so
the Grand Prix?
What I was told while signing this fight was that Sergio Pettis might be ready to fight before the Grand Prix is over, and so if he wants to fight, why not have you and Enrique fight, and then if he's ready to fight, we put the winner out of Archuleta and Enrique to fight Sergio Pettis probably on the same night that the final of the Grand Prix was. Because otherwise I was going to go up to 45 and start making my title run for back up to 45. And so right now they said, well, stay at bantamweight. You fight this fight. Sergio's ready. We put you and Sergio together for the bantamweight Grand Prix, and then we'll have you guys headline the title fight.
As you already say, you already say you have a lot of plans, featherweight division, bantamweight division, but the 2022 is almost done. Do you want some last fight in this year, or do you want to wait for the 2023 for everything?
Yeah, so the thing with Bellator, before the pandemic, they had planned a certain amount of shows to happen. And because of the pandemic, it had slowed Bellator down. And so now with the president announcing that the pandemic's over and we can get back to normal and do all these things, I feel like Bellator is going to be rejuvenated to start running more shows and get back on track where we were before the pandemic had happened, because Coker had came out and said, we are ready to make a run to put shows together and be one of the leading MMA organizations in the world. Well, the pandemic had slowed us down, but now that that's over, now we're going to look into next year possibly fighting more. Before the pandemic, I was fighting 4 times, 5 times a year. Now I could go back to fighting that amount of times because Bellator is going to put that much more shows on.
And obviously you want to be a champion bantamweight or featherweight, but what kind another goals? What other goals have a pioneer like you?
Yeah, for me, it's like I'm a company man with Bellator now. Like I've made my name in Bellator. People see my name and they see Bellator MMA fighting, right? Like it's like they compare Juan Archuleta with Bellator. Like when you hear Bellator, one of the fighters you think of is Juan Archuleta. So I want to start fighting those names that make me legendary in this organization. Fights that are gonna have where people are like, oh yeah, like Emmanuel Sanchez has been with the company a long time. Let's make him a Juan fight. Benson Henderson now has been in there for a while. Let's fight Juan and Benson. Patricio, Patricky, like these type of guys. Like these are the fights I'm after now. Is like, okay, like I don't need to fight these young up and comers anymore. Like I need to fight the guys that have been solidified with Bellator now, that are on that legendary status, that have made their name with Bellator forever, and that's our names are going to bring in that fan base that Bellator has to tune in and been saying, man, we've been waiting for this fight to happen. Like Daniel Weichel, a Pedro Cavallo now, and like some of these other guys that I need to fight.
As Mexican MMA blog, we can avoid to ask you about, you have Mexican and Spanish blood. Barzola is a Peruvian fighter, MMA fighter. Do you feel something extra in this fight for this reason?
Of course, my grandpa's from Chihuahua, Mexico, and it's just like I have that, I have that blood boiling inside me. I'm Apache from Chihuahua, and then my mom's side, and it's just like I have that feeling of pride and showcase that's going to be like Mexico's on top. You know, we're Mexican fighters. We're going to bring in the heat against the Peruvians. You know, it's just like we're going to show, you know, that this is Mexican style fighting.
And for the last question, you have a very impressive path, a very impressive career. And do you want to say something for your sponsors, for your fans, for your people, and the upcoming fans?
Yes, I just want to say to all my fans and sponsors and everyone that supports me, that keeps tuning in to watch my fights and continue to watch my fights. Gracias, muchas gracias, porque the gente is who I fight for. The people is who I fight for. I want to give them the platform to know that you can make it as well. It's not just me. It's not just I got lucky. It's just hard work, dedication is going to prove that you could do it as well.
Thank you, Juan, for your time. Wish you the best, and we will see your fight with very interest.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and I hope see you soon in another interview.
Oh, yes. Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much, and see you the next time.
Okay, thank you.